if you've clicked on this video, you want to know what you should be looking for in a beginner mountain bike. If you've done any research at all prior to this video, you'll know that it's quite a confusing world and there's a lot of different options. So in this video today, I'm going to go over some key features that you should be looking out for when buying your first mountain bike. There's two main types of mountain bike that you might have come across so far. So there's the hardtail mountain bike, which has suspension at the front, and there's a full suspension mountain bike, which is occasionally referred to as a dual suspension mountain bike, or a full sus. So that has suspension at the front and the back. Now, as a beginner or someone just getting into the sport, I'd highly recommend that you go for a hardtail. So you might be wondering, why would I want a hardtail? Well, first of all, they're a lot easier to learn basic skills on. So they're easier to manual, easier to wheelie, easier to bunny hop, easier to track stand. They're also a lot cheaper than a full suspension bike, and you tend to get a better value for your money with a hardtail. What are some key features that you should be looking out for on a hardtail? So the first of them is an air suspension fork. An air suspension fork is lighter than a coil fork, and it's more adjustable, which is going to make it a lot easier to get the correct performance out of the bike for your rider weight. The second thing you should be looking for is a good drivetrain. Now, a good drivetrain will have a nice range of gears at the back of the bike and 1 or 2 gears at the front. I'd recommend going for 1 gear at the front of the bike and a nice range of gears out the back, because you're going to have less instances where the chain falls off. And then the third and final key thing I think you should be looking out for is you should be looking out for hydraulic disc brakes. Now, hydraulic disc brakes are much more powerful than cable V brakes and are so much more longer lasting than V brakes. You've heard the key features and you've gone, that's brilliant, but where do I get a bike? So there's a few places you could get one. You could get one used from eBay or Gumtree, you could get one new from the internet, or you could go to a bike shop and get one from there. So we'll start with going for a used bike. Now, the problem with going for a used bike, if you're just beginning, is it's really easy to look at a bike and not really know kind of the quality of the bike, especially if you're beginning and you haven't nerded out on the subject yet. But if you're looking on a used bike, it's really easy to be kind of misled into buying a bike that's got components that are worn out or components that aren't very good. It's really easy to be misled on a used bike. And then the second place you could buy one from is from the internet, from an online bike retailer. So you can get nice bikes off the internet. However, I would recommend actually going for the third option and getting a bike from a bike shop. Now, the reason behind going for a bike from a bike shop instead of going for a bike from the internet is a bike shop will make sure you're on the right size bike. It's quite easy to get the wrong size bike. Size guides on the internet often aren't correct. But what the bike shop will also do is they'll also make sure that you're getting the bike that is suitable for your requirements. So there's a few bike shops that I would probably avoid if you're looking at getting a serious mountain bike. Firstly of those being Halfords, secondly being Decathlon, and thirdly being Go Outdoors. If you're after a serious mountain bike, I'd avoid those 3 companies and go to something known as a local bike shop. So they're often a small independent bike shop, and they know what they're talking about. So they'll be able to make sure that you're on the right size bike, the correct bike for what you want to do on it. Whether that's you want to ride downhill, or you want to ride trails, or you want to ride jumps, they'll make sure that you're on the right bike for you. But they'll also be able to give you advice about setup, how to maintain it, how to look after it, and they'll also look after you as a customer. So if you go into a bike shop and you buy your bike, what they'll often offer is they'll often offer a free service or a free tune-up after a while. If you have any issues with the bike, so warranty problems, they'll often be able to sort that out for you as well. What you're looking at on the screen now is Cannondale's first proper hardtail trail offering. So it's got a 120mm, 34mm stanchion, Santor fork, and it's on a really nice tapered head tube, beautiful coloured frame, with a 1x10 Shimano drivetrain with a clutch rear mech, so you're hardly ever going to get a chain drop off the front on this bike. But what is really special about this Cannondale Cujo is it's one of the only bikes in its price point of £799.99
to have a dropper seat post and plus tyres. So a dropper seat post allows the seat to move up and down from a control at the handlebars. So you drop it down when you're going downhill, and it means you can move the bike around and you don't have a saddle trying to work its way up your arse. And it also means that when you get to the bottom of the descent, you just press a button on your lever on your handlebars and the seat comes back up to pedalling position. And this just stops kind of minutes of faff at the top and bottom of each trails with your Allen keys adjusting the seat position. So the plus tyres on this bike, and plus tyres means that the tyres are 2.8 inches wide instead of this kind of the normal 2.4 that you'd find on most bikes. It's going to provide a little bit more of a smoothing sensation to the trail that you're riding, so it's going to smooth out a bit more and it's going to reduce the chatter, and it's also going to give you a heck of a lot more grip going around corners, and it's going to make the whole bike feel more comfortable and enjoyable to ride. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to have a look at the Cannondale Cujo 3, I'm going to leave a link down in the description from somewhere where you can buy it. I'm going to be making this into a series where I'm going to go through some tips that I've got for beginners to help you get into mountain biking. So if you want to see more of these videos, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.